Good evening. The federal government is expected to announce next week a judicial inquiry into the HIH collapse. Consumer and industry groups have appealed to the government to prevent other insurance companies bumping up their premiums.
Insurance analysts are predicting hefty premium rises, but insurers are being warned not to exploit people already harmed by the HIH collapse.
Shows some civic-mindedness and try and restore their reputation and the general level of public confidence in the insurance system.
It's a plea ignored by some companies stepping in to take over home warranty insurance, making builders increasingly desperate.
When they do get to the front of the queue, they're facing insurance premium increases of upward of 25% and in extreme cases up to 300%.
Australia's biggest general insurer, NRMA, says it's too early to say whether house and car premiums will rise, but blames HIH discounting for other increases.
They were underprovided in their claims, so as it turns out now, there's just not enough money put aside for their claims to pay people.
But general policy holders have already been hard hit. For example, last year, when this national insurance policy for a Canberra house was underwritten by HIH, the premium was around $180. Allianz Australia has now offered to take over the policy, but will charge more than double for the same cover.
Palestinians and Israelis are bracing for more bloodshed after 20 people were killed and hundreds injured in the worst day of violence in the Middle East in almost 8 months. The trouble began when a suicide bomb was detonated in the Israeli resort city of Netanya.
Strike and counter-strike, and still each blow heavier than the ones before. The day of violence began with 5 Israelis dead and scores wounded by a suicide bomber outside a shopping mall in Netanya. In surrounding streets, the call was for revenge in blood. In parts of the West Bank, cause for celebration among supporters of the Hamas group that carried out the bombing. Sweets thrown to the crowd. Listen to the radio, one chant went, could there be any better news? Hamas may have been opponents of Yasser Arafat's Palestinian Authority while the peace process still stood. Now Israel says they act as one because Yasser Arafat released extremist prisoners.
They are responsible for everything that occurs from within their territory, from within their jurisdiction.
Those words soon backed with unprecedented force. For the first time, Israeli F-16 jets roared over Nablus and Ramallah. The strike on Nablus left almost nothing of a major Palestinian police building and prison with around 100 people inside. For the first time, Israel has deliberately targeted a crowded building. At least 11 died here, more are still missing. As night fell, the jets and helicopters moved to Gaza. For hours, they bombed targets as they pleased.
Diamond mining operator De Beers is going private after shareholders accepted a $38 billion offer by a consortium led by mining group Anglo American and South Africa's Oppenheimer family. De Beers, which controls about 2/3 of the global diamond market, will now be delisted from the Johannesburg Stock Exchange after 108 years. The deal will simplify the complicated web of cross-shareholdings between De Beers and Anglo American. Australia 2, the yacht which broke the longest-held record in sporting history, has returned to the water for the first time in 10 years. The yacht will compete in the America's Cup 150th Jubilee Regatta in England this August.
In 1983, her crew did the seemingly impossible, wresting the America's Cup from the New York Yacht Club, the first time the cup had been out of American hands in the history of the race. Today, she was wheeled out for the last time. Just a small group turned out to witness the first stage of her last journey.
There's going to be something like 200 incredible yachts there. It'll be the biggest yachting regatta the planet's ever seen.
And she nearly didn't make it. Getting permission to take the priceless icon out of her museum home and raising the funds to compete was no easy task.
Trying to see how they could do what would seem to be the impossible task, which was to take this yacht out of the museum in Sydney and take it to Cowes. It's essential that the yacht is there.
Now the weather. In the Pilbara, Gascoyne and southwest, areas of rain, some light falls extending eastwards tomorrow. For Perth, rain easing in the afternoon, a top of 20 degrees, a few showers clearing on Monday, then back to showers on Wednesday. And that's all the news for this evening. Good night.